Hi everybody, how are you? Welcome to the session. My name is Juhi Narula, and today we are going to talk about sentence completion, and our focus would be to solve single blank questions. Sentence completion questions, like I said, are also called fill in the blank questions and are seen in many of the competitive exams. However, you can find slight variation with a number of options and choices available as per the demand of each examination. Say, for instance, in GRE, you call the question sentence equivalence questions, where there is one blank and there are six answer choices provided, and you need to pick two answers, and you can only get marks if you get both the answers right. So, in a case where one answer is wrong and one is right, you would not get any marks. So, it is always advised that while you take a look at these questions, please be very careful while reading the directions. Please don't miss on that. At times, we lose marks because we are too enthusiastic or too eager to solve the questions, and we miss on these little details which might, really impact our scoring, right? So, we are going to divide the session in two parts. The first session, we will primarily talk about the strategies, and in the second part of the class, we are going to solve a lot of questions so that you get clarity and you know how to tackle such questions when you encounter them. So, let's get started. So there can be three variations with the fill in the blank questions. One would be single blanks, one would be dual blanks, that means two blanks appearing. And at times, to increase the difficulty level, you can also get long paragraphs, and then there would be three blanks to fill, right? So you need to be very, very careful, and there would be one session, one recording for each of the blanks, questions exclusively discussed. So today we are talking about single blank. So, when we talk about the strategies, usually students bypass the steps and they focus more on question solving, which is not appropriate when you are learning the concepts. So, first, your focus should be to know the right approach to solve the questions. If your approach is incorrect, then there would be some times where you'll be entangled and you would not know how to execute the question solving. So I would always advise that focus on two particular parameters. One, of course, would be to understand the statement. This is, of course, vital. In fact, we see a lot of times that students come up with this problem that they were familiar with the words, but they could not deconstruct the statement, or they could not simplify, or they could not comprehend or understand what the sentence was trying to convey. So we would avoid to have any such problems, any such potholes which trouble us. So, my sincere suggestion would be to follow a strategic approach to deal with the sentence deconstruction. How? I am going to teach you. And the second would be to know the words. So, it is very, very important that our focus is to understand the word, right? If our understanding of the word is poor, not knowing the word, then of course you cannot do anything. You become absolutely helpless. So try to enhance your vocabulary. There would be videos where we would talk about vocabulary enhancing tools. There are here quick some suggestions that I would like to make. Learn root words. This is a very focused, intelligent, logical approach, and the output comes out very effective, right? So that means you'll be able to learn a lot of words, you'll be able to retain them better, right? So both the things, quick learning and better retention, and you're going to learn a lot of words, right? So you learn one root, say ben, and then you can have a lot of words: benevolent, benediction, beneficiary, right? So benefit, bona fide, all these words. So knowing root is and is a tested strategy, and every trainer in the world who will go for vocabulary building for the English part would definitely advise you to learn roots, right? So there's this book, Word Power Made Easy, by Norman Lewis. It's a very nice book, it's very effective book. So you can have this book in your library, and this is very interactive sort of a book, so you can ensure that you finish the book before you go for the exam. I'll just write the name of the book for you. Just give me a minute. So the name of the book is Word Power Made Easy, and this is by Norman Lewis. right? So you can buy this book, and I'm sure it would be an investment that would be worth cherishing, right? So one would be roots, second would be mnemonics. When we talk about mnemonics, these are memory tools that you create in order to retain the words better. Make flashcards. So you can take any good quality piece of paper, write 3 to 5 words that you would want to learn, write the main word, write the meaning, write two opposites and two synonyms, so that you have close to 25 words in one card, and you can make 5 such cards. So there will be 125 words that you can target in a week's time, right? So try to make a lot of flashcards. So in a very popular technique, you would get some flashcards ready made in the market also, but I always suggest that while you make an effort to create flashcards in a way, you are really you know learning, and you are learning the words which you need, right? There can be at times flashcards which are of easy words in the market, you already know the meaning of the word, but this would be personalized approach, and you can slightly twist and tweak the way you would want, right? And of course, a very popular strategy to build vocabulary would be read. So while you read, if you encounter a new word, you can quickly, mark that particular word. Once you are done reading the entire article or the chapter or the page, whatever you are targeting, you can refer to Merriam-Webster and learn the meaning of that particular word in detail, right? So, but please keep this in mind that the moment you finish the chapter, you should look at the word there and then, right? Don't delay or procrastinate. Otherwise, most of the times we forget, or we get distracted, or we might not give adequate attention. So this is a free app which you can download from the app store, and this can work without internet also, right? So this should really really be useful for you. So please do incorporate these strategies. We have done a separate video to discuss in detail about all these methods, so you can refer to that particular video also. So let's keep our focus today to solve more of sentence completion questions and understand how to deal with them. Now, this is a typical strategy to solve a sentence completion question. Now, I always ask my students that, if there is a question which is easy, you can definitely solve it without strategy. But if it is a difficult question and you are caught, then you would not know how to, get out of it, how to reach to the right answer. So always know the strategy. And if you will apply the strategy to some questions, you'll become used to it. It would not require extra time. So there is this wrong notion in our minds that, oh, so many steps to apply to one particular question. Oh, it would take a lot of time. Let's leave this and quickly, get rid of it and mark the question. See, I'll just share one quick example. When we were in junior classes, there used to be some sessions of Vedic mathematics in our school, but I was never very serious, and I used to think that this is too much of drama and I can do the simple calculation quickly, so why to get into it? But I've seen the students or my batchmates who pursued it till the end were really successful, and in quick calculations, and I could see that I mean, there was a regret that I should have taken the session seriously and they would have contributed. So that's again the suggestion here, that initially it might look a little painful, or it would feel like that you're putting an extra effort and you can do without it, but in the long term, when you will see your accuracy level absolutely to another heights and you are solving the questions quickly, you would be really proud of yourself that you stuck and you clinched the strategy. And that's where professional help helps. अगर आपको अपने तरीके से ही करना है तो फिर आप जैसे कर रहे हो कर ही रहे हो, but if you take a strategic approach, you are going to definitely see a lot of benefits, right? So let's talk about the strategy. So first thing is that look for the subject of discussion. So see who or what are we talking about in the sentence. किसके बारे में बात हो रही है. Second, explore more about the subject. So in this case, you try to see that what is the insight or additional information provided regarding the subject. So what is the sentence talking about that particular subject, right? And then say transition words. This point I will just elaborate in detail. Always think of an answer, predict the answer, and if possible, keep the words simple and recycled. This is a step that you are doing for your own self so that you get better clarity while you are exploring the answer choices. So don't predict a very difficult word. You're not getting any marks for it. Just to simplify the process and not to get into the trap, right? At times students bypass the step and there is any incorrect answer choice, which would of course be a close answer, and they would pick randomly that particular answer that we wouldn't want. And the last step would be that you are provided with four or five or how many answer choices. Just keep on eliminating the incorrect ones. Whatever remains shall serve as the right answer. So see that which word matches with your predicted answer. Look for that particular word and eliminate the incorrect answers. Please, keep this in mind that in verbal eliminations really, really work. So eliminate instead of selection. Don't select, right? In quant we do the selection. So I do a calculation. I have these answer choices. I do the calculation. I see 45 coming and here is an answer and I'm sorted. But in verbal it doesn't work like this. Selection should be the last thing that you would want to do. Always go for elimination. That's quick, that's effective, and that's definitely far more accurate than selection, right? So please do keep these things in mind. So let's apply these steps to some questions, and we are not taking options so that we do we do take some baby steps so that we're acquainted with the application of the strategy, and then we'll jump to the questions. So let's see this. John made the decision to consume a lot of fluids post COVID infection and hence recovered well. So, who are we talking about? John, right? What is the additional information that he consumed a lot of fluids and he recovered well? So, the decision would be a positive one, right? So, as simple as this, right? Did it take a lot of time? No, we just said, what are we talking about, John? What is the additional information that he consumed a lot of fluids and recovered well? So, what sort of a decision would be? It would be the right decision or the positive decision. That is it. Now you are done. You're actually applied the steps. Transition words, I'll just talk in detail in a little bit, while. So let's take a look at the second question. Doctors with dash nature were welcome during COVID peak because of their strength to uplift the dejected patients. Oh my God, a lot of COVID sentences coming, right? So who are we talking about? What are we talking about? We are not talking about doctors. We are talking about their nature, right? So in a way, of course, about doctors, but you would be looking for a word that describes the nature. And what is the detail or additional information that they were looking? Dejected means who feel sad or gloomy or disappointed, right? So disappointed, this is what we mean by the word dejected. You can write the meanings in case you are unaware. Uplift is to gather, motivate, encourage. So that's what we mean by uplift, motivate, encourage. uh, because of their strength to uplift the dejected patient. So, who would be warm hearted, who would be generous, who would be loving, who would be affectionate, who would be strong, right? So that, they're cheering others, they're motivating others. Again, we know that the positive word is going to come. As simple as this, this is what we are predicting. So, if we are clear with our predictions, then eliminations are going to be really, really easy and we are going to reach to the right answer very quickly. Now, take a look at the third sentence. The success of the film dashes expectations. He never imagined that a debut film will do so well. So, this is semicolon, and semicolon separates two complete ideas. So this is how this punctuation is used. So you see what did the film do? I mean, how did the film perform? The success of the film and how did the expectations work for the film? The later part of the statement says that the film will do well. So that means he was not expecting. You should take into consideration, never imagined that it would be that successful. That means this surpassed his expectations, right? So that's how you are going to predict the words, as simple as that. So I'm sure you found the steps really easy. They are not very difficult. They are quick, and if you are going to really put a conscious effort, you're going to reach to the right answers very quickly, right? So if you have this, inhibition or the something that stops you, that the application of steps will consume a lot of my extra time, which I don't have. No, it wouldn't, right? And if you're going to practice, it would not even take this much of time that we are taking to discuss, right? So let's try. The first question is there in front of you. So let's try this question. Oh, okay. Before that, let me quickly give you some insight regarding the transition words. Yeah, so I'll just tell you that what are the transition words. So words like and, but, hence, uh, therefore, yet, nevertheless, in spite, despite. All these are transition words. I'll give you two statements and then you can, complete them. I really like you, and now if I say complete this particular part, so whatever idea you're going to insert would be a positive one. I really like you and let's be friends. I really like you and study together. So any idea that you're putting in here is a positive one. But if I keep the sentence like this and instead of and I put but, so whatever you are going to place here would be a negative one. So despite the fact that this part of the sentence remains to be absolutely identical, you are completing the sentence in absolutely different ways. And why are you thinking that the first sentence extension to the first sentence would be a positive one and extension to the second would be a negative one? Because you have observed these transitions, right? So this is something that you need to keep in mind, that and but has actually changed the game, right? So these are transition words. You are already familiar with these words. There is nothing that's new to you. But the only thing that you need to keep in mind is that you encounter whenever you encounter these words, you have to have a great observation. So you have to train your mind to help you get to observe these words. If that is the reason when we write the steps, we deliberately write it, that students are purposefully going to do it, and then they are going to be acquainted and they are going to be comfortable with that, right? So let's see the first question. I'll give you 30 seconds to try it and then we are going to discuss it together. So please try it and then we are going to discuss it. Just apply the steps and then we will discuss. So I'm sure you've tried it. So let's see. The wrestler decided to dash his career. So what is the decision of wrestler? That's we are talking about. That's the subject. That's what we are talking about. His career when he realized that involvement in a crime has severely damaged his reputation. So his reputation has been damaged when he was involved in a crime. So what would he do his career? So he would leave his career, right? That's how we are going to predict the word. So see, that simple it is, right? So just see which word matches with the predicted word leave. Abdicate is leave. We can keep it. Despise and abhor means hatred, right? So these words go out. Patronize is support. So this cannot also be our answer. So what would be the correct answer? A. I hope we are clear with this, right? So it's as simple. It did not take much of the time to apply the steps and see you are reaching to the accurate answers. Right, let's try this. I'll give you another 30 seconds. Please quickly solve the question and then we are going to discuss. Cardinals, just to inform you, if that is troubling you, finding it difficult, cardinals means juniors. Debtor is stop, right? So debtor is to stop. So that would make your game easy. So that is the reason you should know the words, because if these words are there as a part of the sentence, you would not be able to even to reach to the answer choices if you don't have adequate clarity. So vocabulary is something that you definitely need to work. And yes, of course, you need to know the strategies. Both are equally important. So don't do it like this, that you leave vocabulary building for the end and you're just practicing the questions, or vice versa. You're just working on vocabulary and not practicing the questions. Both the things will go hand in hand, right? So I hope you have tried it. So let's quickly start with the discussion. After the businessman was dash in authority, so what happened, after the businessman was there in authority, there was a little any one of cardinals could do to deter him. So his juniors could not do anything to stop him. That means he was in a safe place, he was comfortable, उसको असर ही नहीं पड़ता, right? So businessman was, safely placed, right? Comfortable, right? So placed can be our predicted word. Seated exactly matches, so we can keep. Accuses charges, so of course, charges we are not talking about. The saying that he was placed comfortably, so nobody could do anything to displace him or stop him from doing wrong things. So this also goes out. Ensconced also doesn't matches with the predicted word. Dignified is when you are in a graceful place. So graceful also doesn't match. So what would be the correct answer? A again. See how simple the questions are. It is not taking time and you are getting clarity with the information that the sentence offers, right? So let's further proceed. Oh, great. So we have some more examples to teach you transition words. So the similar example that I was talking about, I really like you, and so there is some different variation to it. So let's again quickly relook at the transitions, important concepts. It's good that if we are, observing them again. So Sneha is really focused to crack cat, and she's going to do it, right? Positive idea. Sneha is really focused to crack cat, but she is not having adequate time, right? So again, till here the sentences are identical, and but are deciding how the sentences are going to proceed. So that's how transitions are really really vital to be observed, and these are the transition words which you can very frequently see. Furthermore, so if you see the word, Rachita was all set to go for mountaineering. Further, she had also taken an insurance, right? So additional thing she is doing in the same direction, right? I must build good habits. Additionally, I should also, manage my time well. So another thing. My friend is arriving to the party. Moreover, her parents would also accompany, right? Um, I should buy chocolates, wafers, and coffee in addition to banana cake. And we have just seen also, hence as a conclusion indicator, I was sick, hence could not attend the party, right? She worked hard, therefore she could crack the exam. So all these are taking the discussion in the positive direction or in the same direction. These words take the discussion in opposite direction. She worked hard, yet she could not succeed. Uh, I was not interested to attend the party, nevertheless, couldn't say no, right? But we have just seen the usage. Uh, she has a very popular, image. However, her acting skills are doubted. In spite of being sick, Harry made an effort to join us for the campaign, right? In spite and despite you can use in the same way. Despite being unsuccessful in the first attempt, Harry went for the second attempt, right? While everybody was sleeping, I ensured to reach the venue on time. Although rest of the species of bird have declined, um, cockatoo is still surviving, right? So these are some examples where we have used negative transitions, and we are seeing that these words are taking the discussion in opposite direction, right? Now, there is some important concept which is associated to time. So, we say that apart from transitions, words that we have just seen, there are clues which are time clues. They are also very important and they help the person to understand how changes are happening with respect to time. So, you can see these words again, very familiar words: since, now, before, earlier, used to be. So, you can see these are simple words. All you need to do is that you need to encounter, or need to observe them when you encounter them. Like, let's see the usage, maybe this will bring more clarity. She used to live in Jaipur, now she lives in. So, are you able to see used to and now? So, this clearly says the sentence is suggesting that she lives, somewhere else. So, you can say that she lives where? She lives in Ottawa, maybe, right? Whatever that comes in your mind. We cannot make a statement that she used to live in Jaipur, now she lives in Jaipur. This would not make sense. This would be absurd. So, when we say now used to, that means that her, she's living somewhere else, right? So let's take a look at the second statement. Earlier, she was an homemaker. Her friends are surprised to see. So earlier, and then there is surprise. So that means she's doing something else. So see her as a business tycoon or anything, as a teacher, as a successful entrepreneur. So there's something different. She is now a part. Earlier, she was a homemaker. Now she's taken some additional role also. Right? So I hope we are clear with time clues and with the transition words. So let's start with the practice. And this is the first question. So I'll give you 30 seconds. Please try it. And then we are going to discuss it. Just be careful about the transition, right? Very, very important to observe. Otherwise, it's going to create difficulty, and that we wouldn't want. So let's try this. Although the series has some creative plots, one could hardly characterize the work as. So take a look at this word although, right? That clearly shows there's a negative transition. So the series has some creative plots, one could hardly characterize the work as. So how the work has to be characterized, this we are talking about. Now there is this hardly characterize, that means, and you see series have some creative plots. देन there's this transition, पर फिर भी उसमें कुछ ऐसा नहीं है कि हम उसको ओरिजिनल कह सकें, राइट? सो ओरिजिनल और यूनिक और क्रिएटिव, right? So if you are recycling it, that's what I want to say. Creative has some creative plots, but you still cannot characterize it as creative, right? Characterize means term as, identify as. Right? So eccentric is odd. So this is not matching with original, goes out. Innovative definitely does. So we are going to keep this. Winsome is a positive word. Winsome nature means attractive nature. Capricious is sunky, right? So cynical. So that's how this will also not be a good match. So we have eliminated A, C, D. So what would be the correct answer? B. I hope we have sorted everybody. Please observe how although played an important role. If although you would miss although, then you would reach to the incorrect answer, and that we wouldn't want, right? So let's move to the next question. Try this, and then we are going to discuss. Acknowledged means appreciated. So let's try. The channels exposes to reveal, right? Bring it forward, right? Of the coal scam was acknowledged, receiving many dash from the competitors. So what was received from the competitors? Right now, if you see the additional information, that it was acknowledged, it was appreciated. So if something is appreciated, what are you going to receive? You're going to receive appreciation, right? So you can see that it received many praises or appreciation, right? So that's how the predicted word would be acquisition charges. So this goes out. Accolades is appreciation, we can definitely keep this. Attrition is to cut short. So this also goes out. Ignominy is a negative word. We are looking for a positive one. So B is going to be the answer. So simple, isn't it? So that's how you are not going to take a lot of time while you're applying the strategies. I know I'm repeating myself, but again, this is a very valid point in preparation, that have a strategic approach. Just don't go random and do anything that you would want, right? So let's try the next question. Please give it a shot and then we are going to discuss. Curve is to stop. Okay. Evident means observant. Bankruptcy is when you run out of funds. So my idea to tell you the meaning of such words is that you should be able to deconstruct the statement rightly, right? That's our goal, right? So here we are learning the strategy. So our goal is not to solve a lot of questions and see how many we have got right, which is I'm sure must many of you must be thinking it in this way, which is not the right thing. You are doing the questions with an approach for the first time. So initially our goal should be to absorb the approach, then get an accuracy out of it, and then do it in time and then see the scores, right? So don't just make the wrong order go half-assed. Otherwise we would not be putting our efforts in the right direction, that we wouldn't want. Right? So I'm sure you have tried the question. So let's see. The agency put all the efforts to curb expenses. Expenses matlab kharcha, but it was evident, matlab observant tha ki bankruptcy was coming nearer. So it is definite. So what are we coming, talking about that? What? How is bankruptcy coming nearer? Right? So additional information is saying कि agency ने अपना सारा effort कर लिया पर दिख रहा है. And can you see the transition? But so despite all the efforts, it is something that cannot be avoided, right? So something that was definitely coming, right? Something which cannot be avoided. So these can be our predicted answers. Now take a look at the answer choice. Dangerously तो कैसे आएगी? हट जाएगा, right? Inexorably रख सकते हैं, मतलब जिसको आप रोक नहीं सकते. So we can definitely keep this imperceptibly, मतलब जिसके पास आप पासन नहीं कर सकते, right? So precariously is again dangerous, so this goes out. So B is going to be the correct answer, right? Quick, isn't it? So let's move to the next question. So try this and then we are going to discuss. So let's discuss. The critics consented. So critics are who, who must have heard of this term, critical acclaim, right? So Critics are judges actually. So usually we consider critics who talk negative, but they give you an honest opinion about a perspective. You must have seen the movie got a critical acclaim. So, people who are reviewers, people who are judges, people who have a nick for the knack of detail, who are taking into consideration the nitty-gritties, they have appreciated the movie, right? And you must have seen that whenever there are award functions for Bollywood, there is the special category, right? Critics' choice. So, critics are judges or people who are unbiased and would point out both the positives and negatives towards any particular discussion. So, consented means agreed. Okay, consent is agreed. You must have seen that whenever there's a surgery or an operation, so the doctors or the hospital staff would ask somebody from patient's family to sign the consent form, which means it's something that happens during the time of surgery, then the hospital or the doctors wouldn't be responsible. That's a formality. You must have seen it. It's commonly done. So, anyways, let's come back to the sentence. The critics consented that John Thomas had no dash in life and often called spade a spade. So, often called spade a spade मतलब जो होता था उसको वैसे ही बोलते. तो this is an idiom, right? Speak without any limitation, right? Without any fear. सो जो आपके मन में है आपने बोल दिया सो उसको आप बोलते हो स्पेड कॉल अ स्पेड राइट सो इफ यूल सी व्हाट आर वी टॉकिंग अबाउट कि थॉमस को क्या नहीं था लाइफ में राइट देयर इज दिस नो वो जो बोलते थे जो जैसा होता था वैसे ही बोलते थे मतलब उनको कोई डर नहीं था स्पीकिंग विदाउट एनी लिमिटेशन और फियर राइट सो नो फियर दैट कैन बी द प्रोटेक्टेड वर्ड सो फॉलोअर्स तो हमारा नहीं मैच करेगा विद फियर सो गोज आउट एनिमीज भी नहीं मैच करेगा राइट इनहिबिशंस मैच कर सकता है इनहिबिशंस मतलब देयर इज नथिंग दैट स्टॉप्ड सो वी कैन कीप दिस फ्रीडम तो ऑपोजिट हो जाएगा कि अगर फ्रीडम ही नहीं होगी तो फिर स्पेड को स्पेड कैसे बोलेंगे so what would be the correct answer choice C for this particular blank right so I hope you're sorted with this question everybody so let's further move to the next one so try this I'll give you 30 seconds and then we are going to discuss. So we can begin with the discussion now. While there is a large pool of graduates in India, there is, so this is a contraction of there is. While there is a large pool of graduates in India, there is dash of industry ready workforce. So who are we talking about? We are talking about that what is the status of industry ready workforce? What is the additional information that there's a large pool of graduates? Is there any transition? Yes. While. So that means it's an opposite idea. There is a large pool of graduates पर जो industry ready workforce है वो कम है. Right? That's how the transition is going to do justice. So we would want lack कमी है. यहाँ पर large pool है but it is less of industry workforce. So that's how our predicted answer would work. Now take a look at the answer choices. So abundance तो ऑपोजिट हो जाएगा राइट अगर आप वाइल पर ध्यान नहीं देंगे तो abundance can be an easy trap answer choice goes out. Dearth is a scarcity, right? Or you can also put a synonym here, paucity. So we can keep this. Splurge होता है पैसे उड़ाना, right? So to spend generously in a negative way, right? So splurging is in a negative fashion, right? So even splurge will go out, lack, right? Or eulogy comes from two words. EU means positive or good, and LOG is speak. So eulogy is a speech given usually to praise somebody after the death, right? So eulogy also goes out. So what would be the correct match? B would be the right answer for this particular question. I hope we are sorted. Let's move to the next question and try this. I hope you have attempted. So let's discuss. After a long period of stagnation. So what do we mean by stagnation? A period of no growth, right? सो पानी इकट्ठा हो जाता है तो हम कहते हैं पानी स्टैग्नेंट हो गया. So stagnation is when there is no growth, right? Renaissance, so you pronounce it Renaissance, was a dash of learning and wisdom. So after, so can you see there's a transition in terms of time. So this is time clue. So now after a long period of transition, Renaissance was what? A period of learning and wisdom. So यहाँ पर stagnation के opposite हुआ, मतलब revival हुआ या growth हुई, right? या rebirth हुआ, right? So that's what you can see. Rebirth would be a predicted answer. Repository is a collection, right? So it's a store of a store, right? Axiom is common saying. So both these answer choices get eliminated. They are not matching with the predicted word. Cohesion is a force together, right? So it's a cohesive forces. I'm sure you must have heard of this term in your chemistry classes. Revival, of course, so that's the beauty of elimination. You have eliminated A, B, and C. So what matches would be a correct answer. Revival is rebirth. Okay, so it matches with rebirth. Bring back to life. You can see re again, and VIV stands for life, right? So there is this word vivacious, full of life, right? Vital, important for life, right? So re is again rebirth or revival or revision, right? So I hope you're clear. So D would be the correct answer for this question, right? So let's move to the next. Please try this and then we are going to discuss it together. So let's discuss. Now, to avoid any outside influences, the judge has widely decided to dash the jury. So, what is the decision of the judge? That's what we would want to know, right? What has the judge decided to be done with the jury, right? Now, what is the additional information? He wants to avoid any outside influence. Influences, impact, or effect. So, and the decision is wise also. That means something rightly has been done. So he has decided to, it would be the right word, right? It would be a positive, I mean, it would be the word that would say that the decision was to, help the jury so that it doesn't get affected with any outside influence, right? So admonish is to scold. So why would the judge scold the jury, right? Jury is a group of judges. Collective noun, right? So it's a collective noun. So admonish, why would the author admonish it? So preclude also gets very easily eliminated. Sequester is separate, yes. So if you're separated from outside influences, you would not be getting impacted, right? So we can definitely give this dismiss is reject. So even this choice is an easy elimination. So sequester is separate. So sequestration, separation, right? So I hope we are clear with this particular question. A simple one. You have to see that what sort of a decision would he take. So maybe you can just say right so that the influence doesn't happen. So what would be the right amongst the given dismissal से तो कोई फायदा होगा नहीं, right? Admonish scold करने से कोई फायदा नहीं होगा, separate करने से हो जाएगा. You must have seen that during when a party tickets are given or when the mandate comes out of the people after the elections, the candidates of the MPs or the at times MPs or successful candidates, they are separated so that they are not influenced by the other party in order to make the majority, right? So same way, sequestration, separation. Okay, so let's try the next question. So let's discuss. As the wave rose and ship tossed move means moved, right? You toss a coin, right? So many of the passengers felt, so unko jhatka lagega, right? So how did the passengers feel? Additional information is that there's a lot of turmoil going on, so the passengers would feel tremulous, unko jhatke lagenge, right? So why would they feel lethargic, right? Subdued is a person who can easily be subjugated, right? आसानी से जिसको दबाया जा सके. Queasy is uneasy, so that goes out. Tremulous, झटके लगेंगे. So D would be the right answer. Easy question. We just need to get the rhythm of the statement right. Right? So let's try the next one. Please give it a shot and then we are going to discuss. So let's discuss. I'm sure you must have tried. Modern architecture is discarded. Discarded matlab left. The dash trimming on buildings. Trimming, you understand, right? And has concentrated in almost Greek simplicity of life. So, what are we talking about? What has been discarded, right? What has been discarded in modern architecture. So, the additional information says that the concentration has been on Greek simplicity. So, opposite of simplicity has been discarded, right? So, you can say opposite of simplicity. So simple का opposite क्या हो सकता है? Something which is too flashy or showy or and too glittering, too bright. So that's you can have as the predicted word. So as if you're not coming up with any word, you can simply say opposite of simplicity. I mean that's like an easy way to do it. So something which is flashy, which lot of display is done. So उसको leave कर दिया है and they are concentrating on Greek simplicity. So let's see. Flamboyant, of course, matches. Flamboyant is a person who excessively displays, right? So very showy, would demonstrate, too dandy. You must have seen Hardik Pandya usually give this example that, whenever you see him off the field, those big chains and, branded clothes and the brands being displayed and then jazzy watches, so that's where flamboyant word you can understand better. So of course flamboyance has been discarded and simplicity is chosen, so we can keep this. Austere is simple, so this would be not the right answer. Inconspicuous is something that you cannot see, so that also goes. Aesthetic is beautiful, so something which is you know um, simple doesn't mean that it's not beautiful. So don't get into this. This is a trap answer choice. So aesthetic is something which is beautiful, something which is visibly appealing, pleasing to the eye, right? So you say you have got a good aesthetic sense. People who have beautiful houses, or he would pick, great, sceneries. So we would usually say that you have a good aesthetic sense, right? So let's move to the next question. Try this, and then we are going to discuss. So let's try this. If you are seeking means if you are looking, that will resolve. Resolve means solve your ailments. Ailments means problems or disease, right? You are undertaking that you understand an impossible task. So you're looking for what? You're seeking for what? That can bring solution to all your problems, right? Pay attention to this word all. So that means that's something which is not feasible. So you're looking for a solution, right? Universal solution that can solve all your problems, right? So you can say universal solution or a solution for everything, That's also one possible prediction. Solution for everything. So precedent is something that comes before doesn't match. Panacea. So pan is all. So this means a cure or a remedy for everything. Right? So hypothetical, yes, but this matches with our predicted answer. So we can keep this. Abstractions, you understand abstract concepts, right? So this goes out. Direction is, of course, an easy elimination. So B would be the correct answer. Right? I hope you're sorted with this particular question. So let's move and try the next one. Give it a shot. Slightly lengthy sentence, but it's easy if you're able to gather the, a sense of the statement. So I hope you have tried. Let's start the discussion. So an attempt to dash the audience. So what was an attempt towards the audience? Let's see the additional information. The performers of the play resorted. That means they tried to fine storytelling. That means storytelling was nice, emphasized on visual imagery, something that can be imagined, and conveyed the inherent moral story. So everything done was positive. So that means the idea was to influence, or right, or attract or get admiration from the young audience, right? So, influence or attract can be the predicted word. So, resent is a negative word. So, you have a resentment towards somebody when you are having a negative feeling, when you are anguished, when you feel sad about something, or you don't feel good about it. So, resentment will not match. Everything is going good. So, what would be, and of course, if you're doing everything well, you would want appreciation, right? So enthrall is to engage or attract. So this is engage the audience. So we can keep this. This matches with our predicted word. Deviate is distract. So they are doing everything nice. So they would not do it to distract, right? So this goes out. Begrudges complain. So even that doesn't match with the predicted word, and hence we are going to pick B as the final answer, right? So can you see if you are having a methodical approach, you are really quick and you are reaching to the right answers. So let's try the next one. So let's discuss. Vibhuti has a dash face which helps her express emotions with ease as she mesmerizes. Mesmerizes means she leaves a great impression, right? Through her ability to vary. Vary is change. So she is able to mesmerize means attract, right? From voracity. Voracity is loud to refinement, which is polished, grief to happiness, and from anger to peace. So what are we talking about? What sort of face Vibhuti has? So this is saying that the audience get engaged, the audience get involved, they get attracted, and she can change various expressions. So that means she has got a versatile face, right? Versatile, that means that can make various expressions. So that's what are something which is able to convey, right? So you can imagine Sri Devi, lot of facial expressions. The face used to speak, right? So eloquent means expressive. So this matches. We can keep this static, something which is constant. So this is opposite, goes out. Cynical, sunky hai. Ubiquitous, of course, is an easy elimination. So we are going to pick A as an answer. Right. So despite having long sentences, at times what happens is we get mentally intimidated and you would not even want to try the question because sentence looks very lengthy. So that's something we should really avoid, and we should definitely give it a shot. So let's try this question. So let's see. The CEO, Van Wilson, got a resounding support. That means strong, reassuring. In the board meeting from the opposite members who battled for more parts for the CEO and criticized MD Libby's Verghese constant dash in the working of the company. So what are we talking about? That what was criticized of MD Libby Verghese, right? So what was she doing that was criticized, and everybody wanted that Van Wilson should get more support. So that means CB Verghese was doing something wrong, right? Something which is constantly wrong, and more powers wanted. So maybe her, unnecessary involvement, or disturbing the pace of the progress. So let's see, something negative done by Libby Verghese. That's what we would want. Constant admiration, administration would go. Affiliation is easy elimination. Recognition से तो क्यों ही लोगों को complain होगी. Interference, right? So interference would be the right match. So intervention matches the best. We are going to pick D as an answer. All right. So let's move to this particular question. I'll give you 30 seconds. Quickly try it, and then we are going to discuss. Hockey exhibits a dash response. So, what sort of a response you get in hockey? Now, there's a transition while. So, cricket enthralls the nation. Matlab, cricket, of course, you know how cricket works in our country. It really captivates everybody. So, while is there, so the opposite of enthrall, that means it's a mild response, right? So moralistic, there's nothing associated with morals. Lukewarm is one word. Mild, irate, so negative. Genial is warm, so goes out. So lukewarm, that means mild response, not very excited. People are not much excited about hockey, while cricket everybody is super excited. That's what the sentence wants to say. Right, so this brings us to an end of the discussion. I hope you really enjoyed the session. There are few important suggestions that you can, see on the screen. Know the words, know all the meanings. If you're just learning superficially, then you might really put yourself in deep trouble. Please focus on understanding the statement rightly. So deconstruction is important, and it would lead us to crack the question. And always remember that consistency is the key. So please help spread the word, and do watch this space for more videos. Take care. All the best.